Hi, everybody, and welcome to Evolve Love. I am your host, Amanda, and I am so happy that you have found this podcast. Are you looking for daily inspiration, motivation, and wisdom to help you begin your day feeling supported and uplifted with love? Well, you have come to the right place. This podcast is a space of encouragement where you can be held in your self-development because in order to evolve, you need love, and it begins here with you. Now, let's get into today's episode. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Evolve Love. Happy Thursday. I am so glad that you are here today. And this week, we have been talking a lot about the concept of abundance, joy, prosperity. And this all comes from our Monday episode where we talked about the part of fortune in our birth chart. And as the week has gone on so far, it has sort of developed into now this talk about the solar plexus that we had yesterday and the role of the solar plexus and how so much of the high vibe energy that goes along with the part of fortune can be felt and generated from that energy of the solar plexus. And so we talked a lot about that in Wednesday's episode. And with that, we did some journaling. And the journaling helped us to check in with where we might be out of balance with our solar plexus. And I want to talk about that some more today. So if you haven't done those journal entries yet, even if it's just a mental thought journal entry, I do recommend it because I think it will help you to check in with how we might be able to better acknowledge that energy, whether it is an overwhelm of solar plexus energy or an underwhelm. So, or if you're balanced, then continue doing what you're doing, that type of thing. So having that awareness is going to be very helpful for today's episode. And on Thursdays, we talk a lot about expansion and amplification because Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, or the energy of Thursday is connected to the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is also the planet of luck and the planet of good fortune and prosperity. So much of the part of fortune, in my eyes, all of these adjectives that align with it also align with Jupiter. And Thursday is that day that we focus on that. But when I was thinking about what we were going to talk about in today's episode, I realized that we really cannot expand ourselves. We cannot expand our energy if we are out of balance. Because if you've ever tried to do that too, like if you've ever tried to kind of like push yourself into a specific space that you want to be in, even though you don't feel 100% in it, you know that you're not going to be at the best that you can be when you inside are not feeling it. And so in order to get ourselves to that next step, we have to feel right with where we are. We have to feel balanced. I kind of think about it too, like, if you think about like a seesaw, and on the seesaw, you're trying to get both sides balanced, like both sides on the same horizontal plane. And if we had two buckets on each, and say we are pouring water into each bucket to get that level balance, the water has to be at the same amount on both sides. And if it's overflowing on one side, it's going to drop, right? So how can we find our balance before we expand? Because we can't be at the fullest extent of our potential without that. So with the solar plexus, we're really talking about that today just because it is what came up in yesterday's episode and because it goes along with this part of fortune so much. I wanted to talk about ways that we can balance. Now, all of this you can find online. I am not an expert in the chakra system, just like I am not an expert in astrology. However, these are things that have greatly benefited me in my life and helped me to feel more connected and more in my power in my life. And that is why I feel so called to share it. And that is why I feel so called to be open about it here. So with the solar plexus, there's also two Today, the moon sign is in Scorpio. So I just wanted to talk about this because this is an interesting energy for today in the sense that the moon being in Scorpio is a water sign. And the solar plexus as an area in our body is a fire area. And we even talked about it maybe yesterday too, about the powerhouse and like the core fire and the energy that is there. So we have to be really careful that on days when the moon is in a water sign, that the water is not dampening our inner fire. And we also don't want the fire to cast out all the water. Again, it's about finding that balance. So being aware today that if this exercise doesn't feel right for you today, it might very well be that you are relating more to the energy of the moon today and that water energy. And so how can we maybe either save this exercise for another day, or how is it going to benefit us in today? Because maybe we are feeling washed out, and how can we, regain that sense of inner fire? So ways that we can honor and hold our solar plexus is anything to do with the color yellow, wearing yellow, maybe doing if you wanted to use like yellow nail polish, gold jewelry, anything that has like that warm golden light. That is our solar plexus. So by wearing it, by bringing it into our environment, this is ways that we can help to get us in that balance. Also too, even to the foods we eat, eating yellow foods. And it doesn't even have to just be like, okay, a banana, okay, a squash. It could also be spice. So like if you want to use turmeric in anything that you're making, like if you're making a rice dish or something like that, the spice too, like with that heat quality, can help to bring and initiate some of that fire in the body too. For myself, I feel that for exercise, specifically like a core engagement type of workout, or like whether you want to do like an abs workout or something like that, or you're looking specifically for like a solar plexus yoga flow, something that deeply connects you with your core, initiates your core, fires you from within, activates you from within, that can be really helpful. And just exercise in general, because if you think about it, like when we are exercising, we are moving our body, we're generating energy within our body, we're creating heat in our body. So even if it's not fully centered just in that core center, like where the solar plexus is, you're going to benefit from it because it's creating overall heat and well-being in the body. So today, the practice that we have to expand and amplify is to get balanced and to get connected into the areas where we maybe are not feeling that are like ourselves, or the areas that are not feeling like our best self in the scheme of that solar plexus. So when we are talking about up-leveling energy, we can't really up-level until we feel good with where we are at so that we can build upon that. We want to have a strong foundation before we start like building the staircase even higher. So tune in, listen, and honor where your needs are at before you even begin to amplify, because this is going to make all the difference in the world. You don't want to rush to get to the top. You want to make sure you're creating the building blocks that will hold you on the way to the top. I hope today's episode was helpful. And if anything, I hope that it inspires you to look up about the solar plexus a little bit more and maybe even take a quiz online. Like, where are you in and out of balance? And this could also apply to any chakra in the body. But this was just our area of focus connecting to our Monday and Wednesday episodes. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Thursday. And if you feel called to share this episode with a friend who you may think needs it, I would so appreciate that. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at _evolve love, and I will check in with you tomorrow.